Hello and welcome to Zel. You've got Goose, and I'm here to tell you about the new Kamate Network Upgrade, which is about ready to launch. So, if you are running a ZelNode, now is the time to update that ZelNode. If you're interested in running a ZelNode, now is a fantastic time to get some Zel and spin up your own node. And if you want to learn more about the Kamate Network Upgrade, stay tuned. It's all coming right here. First, here's a running ZelNode that has ZelFlux installed, and what you're looking at is called ZelFront. This is the front end or the user interface that can be accessed through any browser. All you need is the IP address and the port number, and it basically gives you like a website that you can use to navigate your ZelNode. And if you are the administrator of that ZelNode, and the way it recognizes that is through your Zel ID, which you'll set up when you create the node. If it sees a match between your Zel ID and the one that's attached to it during the installation process, it will let you do administrative functions to manage this. So for instance, if an update is pushed out on the network, you can go over here to Zel Admin, go to Manage ZelFlux, and you can update ZelFlux here. You can rebuild the front end. So if there are some new things added to this user interface, you can rebuild that and you'll see the new features added. You can also take care of the Zelcache blockchain service that's running on the node. And this is a very easy way to update the Zelcache binaries. So the blockchain portion of this node could very easily be updated now right through this user interface. You can take a look at users that are logged into your node. And you can also take a look at some other control features. You can take this get info. And there are a whole bunch of other things here, including blockchain mining network. Most of this is not yet coded, so it says features coming soon. But nevertheless, all of that will be here sometime in the future. And as you can see, this ZelNode says not confirmed, and ZelFlux is running with limited capabilities. It says that because we have not yet reached the correct block height for the new deterministic ZelNode upgrade. So that block height needs to be 558,000. So we've got a little over 4 hours left before, at least at the time of the making of this video, before we'll be ready to click the start button on this particular node. But before we get running on how to create your own node, which is a very simple process, or even update an existing node, I just want to go into a little bit of detail about the nodes themselves. What they are 3 different tiers of computational power. So the basic node has 2 virtual cores, the super node has 4 virtual cores, and the BAMF node has 8 virtual cores. They have varying degrees of RAM and storage requirements, as well as bandwidth requirements. But the whole idea here is that these different levels not only allow for users of different levels to run their own node. Okay, so it's not like you have to be a whale in order to have a node on the Zel network. Especially today, the price is, I think ripe for the buying. But not only that, there's different entry points, right? Which is great for the community at large. It's also a matter of, distribution of resources, so we may be able to, do more with a BAMF, yes, but we may be able to distribute more supers around the world, and I have a feeling that the super will probably be kind of the bread and butter of the Zel network, so a lot of 4 cores and 8 gigs of RAM, there's a lot of different applications that could run on a machine that has those kind of specs, and that's exactly what we would be doing with the Zel network. Like I said, ZelFlux is the gateway to the Zel network. So Flux is going to provide that connectivity through not only the user interface, but also APIs for developers so that they'll be able to, do types of, programming calls and stuff like this. And they'll also be able to link network nodes together and stuff like this. So there's some really cool stuff that you can learn about here in this Let's Talk Flux article that Tadeáš, one of the lead developers, wrote. And it goes into great detail about what you can expect with the ZelFlux setup. If you want to learn more about the Zel Kamata upgrade, definitely check out this article here by Big Piggy. In fact, this is probably one of the best ones to read because it's got a summary of everything. All right, Big Piggy is a great contributor in the crypto space and is a programmer himself. He's one of the lead developers on the Raptorium project, so definitely check that out. But he's contributed this great article here, which really sums up all of the different aspects of the Kamata Network Upgrade. That's ZelFlux, Zel Deterministic Nodes, benchmarking, oh boy, Docker, all of the different things that we're doing with this network. Probably the most important thing is that now we are going to be able to empower developers to start creating and launching their apps on the Zel network. So that the next 6 months are going to be very exciting for the Zel project. So without further ado, let's get into the reason why you're here, which is to update your ZelNode or to install a new one. So I'm going to start with installing a new one from scratch. All right. The update process is essentially the same thing. All you have to do is go to this deterministic ZelNode script page, which I have right here, and follow these instructions. If you have a node already running, go here. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll put update so you know. Now I'm going to actually go over here to the deterministic ZelNode install guide and basically go with everything that they're suggesting that we do here. All right, and this is just a very basic kind of setup. And this is my Zelcore wallet. All I got to do is click the Zel here, and I have this on the simplified view to just make it easier for everybody to see. All right, and then to get to the full node wallet, I would just click on full node, launch full node. Now, what you're going to want to make sure is that your full node wallet is 100% synced. It'll show you that over here in the right-hand side where it says synced 100%. If it's not there yet, then you've got to wait until you get to 100%. Don't start working with your wallet. All right, make sure it syncs all the way up. There are ways that you can speed the process along by downloading the bootstrap file. You can search for that on our Discord server to try and find links to where the bootstraps are. That's probably for another video. In fact, there is a video on that on the Zel Hub YouTube channel, so do check that out. Look for the bootstrap video, and that'll be how to download and synchronize your wallet a little bit faster than letting it sit there by itself. It may take 2 or 3 days if it has to do that by itself, okay? But that being said, once you have it 100% synced, then what you'll want to do is send yourself the collateral. And in my case, I'm going to be running a super node, so I have 25,000 Zel exactly, which I sent to this transparent address. The way that works, I just looked at my receiving addresses, which are right here. All right, and I'll send that in there. Boom, done. All right, you're going to need 15 confirmations before you can do anything with the node. All right, you won't be able to activate the node until you have 15 confirmations. So that's going to take at least half an hour for those confirmations to add up. All right, because every block is 2 minutes, so 15 times 2, that gives you 30 minutes. So once you send this in, now I encourage you to do this first. Sync the wallet, send the collateral, make sure it's there, and you have your 15 confirmations. Next thing we want to do is start working with our server, and to get in there you're going to have to download PuTTY or another terminal program, or if you're using Linux you can just SSH from a terminal over to the IP address of your wherever you have your server. And then once you're in there you can log in as root, because we're going to treat this as if it's a new installation. So you log in as root, type in your root password, get in there, and then we're going to create a new username. All right, we're going to give that user sudo privileges. We're going to add snapd. This is an installation for snapd. And then we're going to use snap to install Docker. And then from there, we're going to add a new group called Docker. And then we're going to add our username to the Docker group. And then we'll reboot the node and then log back in as the username. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add user. I'm going to call this one super01, and it'll ask me for a password. So type in a nice password. Make sure it's a strong password. Letters and numbers. All right, and then you don't have to put a name and work and phone number or anything like that. And just go ahead and say Yes. All right. The next thing we want to do is add our super user or super01 to the sudo account. Okay. So now super1 is sudo, which means that you can run commands, like you can run administration commands from that user login. So once we log into that account, we'll be able to do that. The next thing we're going to want to do is update and install snapd. All right, and what this will do is update all the package repository so we get all the latest stuff, and then go ahead and download and install snapd. Invalid option, tac y. It doesn't like my tac y. Why is that? Oh, I didn't put the apt in. Derp. Right here. There we go. Now you can just copy and paste those commands. I'm just winging it here. The nice thing about Linux is, you know, it kind of takes a lot to really break it. So as long as you are careful with what you're typing in, all right, don't just type on any old thing, but that's that. Okay, so now we have snapd installed. Now what we can do is snap install Docker. We'll use snap to install this. Snap is kind of like a package manager of sorts. So now we're getting that ready. And once that's installed, then we can go ahead and add our group. Let's see what that command is. Group add Docker, and then we're going to add our username to Docker. Pretty basic. Okay, group add Docker. And then we're going to, what is it? Add user super01 to Docker. All right, now super is part of the Docker group, and we are ready to reboot. That's it. Boom. All right, close this down. Let me reopen a new one. Now I'll type in my username, which is super01, and my password. And now we're logged in. Okay, great. Let's go back to the next step here. And that's on number 7 if you're following along using this guide. And what we're going to want to do is prepare the Zelcore wallet for the installation of the node, because we're going to need all those nitty-gritty details before we actually update the node or install the node. So first thing to do here on the right-hand side is we've got this little wizard's hat. So we're going to use the wizard to create a Zel node. Make sure you back up all addresses, by the way. And when you do this, save it to an external media. So plug your flash drive in, back up all addresses, choose the destination as that flash media drive, and save it there. Okay, that will be all of your private keys. Do not lose that. Do not give that to anyone. Do not give it to anybody who asks for it. Don't give it to even your mom, all right? Unless, yeah, don't give it to anyone, okay? Just save it. Back it up. Always back it up, all right? There's a reason that's there. Okay, next step, ZelNode setup. What ZelNode do you want to set up? We're going to do a super, so just click the super. Now I need my IP address. Let me go back over there. Where are we? What IP address are we? Oh, wow, here it is. All right, there's that. And you're going to want to paste that right there. It already puts this port number in, so put the IP address before the port number. All right, so it should be your IP address, :16125. All right, next step. It's going to ask you which address do you want to use for this node, and it already found the one that I have. Fancy that. So I'm going to click this little guy. We're going to give it a name and call it super duper 01. There we go. Continue ZelNode setup. And here's my config file. That gives me right here. I'm going to leave this open, okay? This is going to give me everything I need for the installation of the ZelNode. So we'll leave this there, and I'm going to go back over to here and take a look at the rest of the guide. All right, number 9. We're going back into here, and we're going to need to run this command, which will bring down the installation file. Okay, so got that. Let's open this up. Paste that there. If you're not familiar with pasting, it's Control-Shift-V in a terminal, or you can just right-click and that will automatically paste it. And now we are getting ready to install the ZelNode. All right, what is your sudo password? Make sure you enter this, and what this will do is automatically add your account in such a way that the password will not need to be asked for again. Okay, so we have a prompt here. It's detecting that we are using port 22 for SSH. If you are not using port 22 and you want to use something else, you can set this to no and change it. But that's more of an advanced user feature, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick with port 22 here. Click yes. And then it's going to look for the IP address. Is that the right IP address? Say yes. If it's not, then you can hit no and then enter the correct one. And then it's looking for a swap file. Did not find one, but it created a swap file for us. Swap is always good, just for efficiency's sake, and just in case you actually max out your memory on a particular node. Enter your ZelNode private key generated by your Zelcore ZelMate wallet. That is this top number here. It says right here, the private key used for setting up this node is. So you click to copy that. I'll take that back over here, and I'll just right-click to paste that in. Hit enter. All right, now it wants my collateral transaction ID. That's right here, your ZelNode output transaction ID. All right, we're going to want this number here. And notice the output index is 0, okay? Sometimes it's a 1, sometimes it's a 0. So just keep that in mind. Mine's a 0. All right, once again, I'll right-click there. Hit enter. It's going to ask for the output index. Mine's a 0. Hit enter again. All right, this part is done. So we're going to go ahead and click on save and continue. And I am not going to activate the ZelNode because I can't. But I'm going to click on this little X right here. And then I'm going to go back. We're going to leave the full node running. Click on apps. Exit the full node. And click on Zel ID. All right, this is going to be next for the ZelFlux installation. And right now what this is doing is downloading some of the proving keys and things that we need to verify transactions using the private ZK snarks feature of Zelcache. Okay, now this is very important. If you would like admin privileges to the ZelFlux, you have to select yes, and you will need your Zel ID to do this. Okay, so you hit yes. And then we'll go over to our Zelcore wallet, and right at the bottom of our Zel ID section, we have this little QR and this hash. So we're going to click on this hash, copy it, and we're going to paste it right here. That's how this node will identify us as the owners. Click on that, and it says enter a name for your tmux session to run ZelFlux. I'll call that one Super 01. Okay. While ZelFlux is installing, I'm going to go back to our Zelcore full node so we can be prepared to go ahead and start this thing up. The ZelNode is now appearing here as Super 01. That's because the configuration file has been saved and created in the previous step, but you'll notice that the status is missing, and that's because we have not yet started this node. Can't do that until the installation process is complete. Once it is, then we'll be able to send a start command, and that will connect to the node. Let's see where we are over here. Here we go. So what we're waiting for right now is the completion of the syncing process for the blockchain itself. Now, every 30 seconds, this screen will refresh, and what we're looking for is this number right here, which actually I believe is at the correct height. So if you want to see what the correct height is, just copy this address right here, pull open your web browser. So look at our block height, 557,902. And we'll go back to here and we'll see 557902. So yeah, we're in the right place. It has automatically detected that. And we're doing some final checks here. And last but not least is our done screen. And we've got some things that we can do here. It says at the very bottom, and this is the most important one right now, if you want to access your front end, you got to use this IP address and port number. Okay, so hey, let's give that a try. Put in that address, and that's going to open up Flux. Oh, and do notice this, guys. Firefox does not support this. You can't use Firefox to log in. You have to use a Blink engine-based browser. So that's going to be Edge, Chrome, Chromium, Brave, and maybe Vivaldi. So I'm going to use Edge. Hey, now it's going to work. All right. So little things. You got to do this. It's the only way we can get this to happen. All right. Now it says we need to log in using Zel ID. And how this works is you have your Zel Core wallet open and you click on the Zel ID. And it says you want to switch apps. Microsoft is trying to open Zel Core. Say yes. And that will open up Zel Core. And now it's going to ask us to sign a message. So we're going to use our address to sign this special key. You click sign and send, and that will automatically log us in. See? It says successfully logged in. So ZelFlux is running. And let's see if it's up to date. So we'll go on the admin here, click on manage ZelFlux. ZelFlux is up to date. Let's check out our Zel Cache. Zel Cache is up to date. Everything is looking good, guys. So we go over here to Zel Cache, control, get info. And of course it says right here that the ZelNode is not confirmed. So how do we do that? Well, this is real simple. Back over here, we're going to close this down. And now notice how the status says missing, right? So what we need to do is start this ZelNode. And to do that, we'll click the little 3 dots here and we have a little start button. So go ahead and click on start. And it says successfully started ZelNode Super 01. Great. So now let's go back over. I'll open this back up. And the command that we're going to type to see if this is started is zelcache-cli get ZelNode status, and it says ZelNode successfully started. So our wallet triggered this connection. So the control wallet with the collateral address and this ZelNode are connected, and it started the ZelNode there. So that's all you need to do to get up and running. The reason why this says that we have limited capabilities right now is because we are not yet at the correct block height. This will not be able to be fully enabled until we hit block 558,000. So you can see right now that is about 97 blocks to go. So very, very short while left. I probably will be asleep when this happens, but that's it. That's all you need to do to get your ZelNode up and running. Now, obviously that was a fresh install, but you can do the same exact process essentially for the upgrade. So let me go over that real quick. I'll leave this link in the description. If you want to do an update, log into your existing ZelNode, perform these 5 commands because you need to install Docker. Once that's done, then go back into your Zel Core wallet, pull this up, and right here where your node is showing, you just click this and go to edit. Now I have all the information that I need right here for the ZelFlux installation process. Okay, my IP address is here, my private key is here, my output transaction ID and the index, it's all there. Okay, and you'll be able to copy these, use Control C to copy it. All right, so you highlight it or double click it to highlight it, Control C, and that will copy it. And then what you can do is go back over to your installation script and paste in all of that necessary stuff, which you saw me do in the previous steps. Once that's done, then you're good to go. The script has built in a function to remove any of the old Zel cache stuff and install fresh new binaries for Zel cache 4.0.0 and all the ZelFlux stuff. So for all intents and purposes, you can very easily update your existing nodes by running this script, or if you're new to this and you want to start a fresh node, use the same exact script and just follow all of these instructions, most especially what you see on this particular wiki. Okay, I'll leave links down in the description. And that should pretty much cover it, guys. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments below. If you like what we're doing here, give us a thumbs up. Give us another thumbs up. Subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. What would you use a ZelNode for besides rewards, huh? Would you run some kind of Docker container on there? Like, what kind of droplet would you put in? Nextcloud, WordPress, some kind of SSH terminal? Would you tinker around with Linux desktops? I mean, there's all kinds of different things that you can run on a node. So what would be your fancy? Let us know, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks again. Peace.